Hello, I'm back, and this is my second video on making little forms out of cookie cutters and wool. It's dry needle felting. If you haven't watched the first video, we made this little gingerbread man that showed the basics of how to needle the wool in the form. So please watch that first because I've already done that part on this one. What we're going to be concentrating for this little ice cream is how to do a little bit more complex level of embellishments. So the first thing that I've done is I've needled in my wool, I've popped it out of the form, and now I'm looking at the form to see kind of how that shape, if it was 3D, how would that shape go? Well, it would have these little, what is that, rolls of ice cream, or you know, Dairy Queen, when they do that little loop-de-doo thing and the little rolls. Well, that's kind of how this is happening here. I'm envisioning it. It's not necessarily scoops on this one. It's more of like those, I don't know, they're like a long strip of ice cream that gets folded anyway. So what I've decided on strawberry ice cream for this, and I'm using now, this was the carded wool, I used earlier. This is wool. The wool I used in here was the kind that the fibers are real fuzzy. They're not all in one form. Now I'm going to my roving, which is, you can see the fibers are just long and all in one shape. I don't like to use that to make the initial form because it can end up kind of not packing right, but it's really nice for the decoration part of it. So I'm going to tack the end of the roving into the right between the cone and the ice cream on this. And then I'm just looking for kind of an effect of that little round layer going around. So I've kind of wrapped it around and I'm starting to just needle the edges of it so that it starts forming a little strip, a cute little strawberry strip. So we're going to do a little bit more. I'm just going to tack it at the back. The thing about roving is you just want to tack it, because the key really for me a lot of times is just pulling it around and then tacking the end again, and then I can just go around the edges. I kind of want to leave the middle part smooth, and so it kind of makes that ice cream effect. So I'm not going to be needling this embellishment until it's firm. I just want the edges to, we don't want our ice cream melting over the cone, right? So we got to get our edges in to form a little layer that's above that cone. And I'll probably give the cone a little brim too in just a second. Going all around, I'm just poking and making these edges start to form. There we go. And then in here, I kind of want to indent in between the next layer so that it actually looks like not just one big blob. I want some definition there, so go like that. And there's some highlights we can add later too that'll help that, but let's see how it goes. We'll get some more roving. And we'll do another, okay, I need about half of what I've got there. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna wrap it around. I think I'll anchor it on the same side I did. We'll consider this the back, although it's kind of not gonna have a back. So that's going around like that to there. Okay. I'm gonna take it around a couple times. There we go. And then anchor the end once I get to where the end is. All right, so now we need to kind of form our next little layer of ice cream by taking the edges, tucking them in, needling them down. Getting that indent on the sides. Going around to the back and doing the same thing. And there's really just no rule of thumb on this stuff. I'm just showing you an example of some of the things that I do. You can get creative as you want to on this. And if you figure a better method, that's great. Just giving you a place to start out. Okay. There we go. Okay, it's looking pretty good as in the next layer of ice cream. And now we'll do this top layer, or almost top layer. Wrap that around. There's the end there. Okay. Bring it down so it covers up the white. Almost looks like cotton candy, doesn't it? I'm going to use some highlighting, show you some highlighting that'll help it define the layers just a little bit better so we have less of the cotton candy look to it in a minute. Just got to finish off this top part. Tuck the roving in. It's always tucking it in at the end and then pulling it around. Let's see, it's going to be a little tricky, so I'm going to have to needle it because it wants to slip there at that edge. There we go. And then just get it all the way up on the top. Kind of wrapped it. Now I'm just going to pull it down to the back. Being a little unruly right now, but needle felting, you can make it do whatever you want to with the needle. Just be patient. And don't think, oh no, I ruined it. Just get creative and be patient. Try different things. That's how we learn, right? Okay. And if you're watching this, chances are you are probably a crafty person anyway. Okay. Get my edges a little bit better. So you know, sometimes you got to break the rules to learn new things, to discover new fun techniques. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I think I would like to add a little bit of contour in there. So what I'm looking for is a slightly lighter color of pink. I've got some of this. This isn't the roving. This is just the regular carded wool. I think that'll work really good to just put in the cracks to give it a contrast. A little bit easier to handle than the long strands at this point too when you're doing little bits. The strands are good for wrapping, but if you're doing little bits like this, probably want to go with the carded wool instead. Starting to get a little bit of that effect. I didn't go all the way around on this one, just for your benefit and because of time. You would probably want to go all the way around. Now we can do this thing where we take a little bit of white after the fact. So let's see, I'll take a little bit of white. This is the long strands, and add that over the pink a little bit in areas to kind of give it, you know, the white contrast over the pink to give it a little bit more dimension as well. That didn't do a lot for it, so I'm gonna add a little bit more. And I just added little bits at a time to keep it really natural looking until I get the effect I want. So what I kind of want is a little bit of a highlight effect. And I think this is gonna give it to me. If I try something and it fails, I don't like it, the nice thing about needle felting is I could pull this white back off if I decided, oh no, that was a really bad call, I don't like what it's doing. I can just pull it off and put something else on. So, but I kind of like that little, the light dark that's happening. I think I got a little fuzz of something darker in there that came from my stash. Let's see. Oh, it might be, whoops, whoa. It might be my hair. There we go. So watch for hairs. Someone's hair. Okay. And let's see. Maybe a little bit more white over here. I can kind of see where that would make sense. So at this point, we are painting with wool is what we're doing, right? Kind of painting in 3D with wool. Wrap that around. Don't look at the back of this one. I would spend much more time on it usually getting that back in shape as well, but I just want to give you enough of an example that you can go and do this yourself. So, tack that one around. I think it's working really well when we get that white that goes on the big parts. Let's see. Even thinking, probably done like that, I guess. Let's see. Okay. And then you can even layer, I mean, you know, I did the white, and maybe I lost some of my pink that I liked. So it's gonna bother me if I don't do this layer. Just a minute here. So I'm layering some white on. Kind of start going with what it looks like, how it's looking. And I think now at this point, I'm going to want a little bit more of the pink because I kind of put almost too much white. So it's kind of going back and forth with little wisps until you get the effect that you want on your ice cream. So there, that kind of brought the white out a little bit better there. So that's, I would probably fuss with this quite a bit more, but you get the idea. Make sure I'm keeping these areas of ice cream really defined as I go. So get those edges. So that's looking a little bit better there. So we could go over to the cone and do a little brim around it. So that's pretty simple. I'm just taking that same wool and I'm just putting it right up at the top, needling it on the top. Actually, you know what? Another way to do it. Better way, now that I think about it. I think that we would be better off to do a little strip first and then just attach it, because that was going to take a lot of time to get it to be a brim. So I'm needling a little bit of wool. I can even spin it in my hand a little bit to help it along. We're really just trying to form a piece, a long piece that will go around and make a raised brim. So a few more needles. There we go. Now I'll come over here and put it on by going around the edge. And it's already got its little brimmy shape happening. So much better. So you see, it's just kind of trial and error, right? Once you get to know your little techniques, you go to do something and you think, wait, oh, I should have done it this way. And next time you remember. And it goes better. So there's that little ice cream cone brim. Go along the top and the bottom. Okay, and it's a little long back here. Pull some off. You don't want to cut it if you can avoid cutting it, because it's once you cut it, it's not going to felt, and you can get like little edges sticking out where you've cut it. It just won't want to bind. So if at all possible, I avoid cutting and try to pull it off. Now I can shape my cone underneath of it and kind of get it to go in a little bit more. Oh, cute little cone. There we go. Okay. And you could even do some little patterning on that cone, but what I was gonna do next is show you, we could add some little sprinkles. You could do this with beads too. So you can always stitch on wool. And I've done ones before where I've done the little colored beads and just stitched them on. And that is super cute because the little tiny beads do look just like sprinkles. But right now what I'm doing is I'm just taking little tufts of wool and needling them in to make some little sprinkles. I'm using this orangey color first, and then I'll go to clip the extra, and then I'll go to let's see, we'll put about 3 of that color on, and then I'll move to another color, and there we go. Just giving it some interest, right? Maybe some blue or something like that, like purple, a little bit of purple. Some purple sprinkles. Keep it red, and then it almost could look like like wounds or something. I want it to look like actual candies on there. I don't want it to look like bullet wounds or something. So here we go. Okay, and then add one more little blue, purpley blue one. Let's see. Where do we want it? Maybe not here. I don't want it too big, so I'm going to cut off. There we go. Okay, so I've got my little sprinkles, and then you could take a little bit of red if you wanted to do a little cherry on top. And I've even taken and made wire little stems and leaves for my cherry before, but I'm just gonna put a little round cherry on top. I keep it a little fuzzy because it's easier to get into get it to stick on top, and then I just finish doing this circular form up on top once I get it in there. Poke it around. Don't want to flatten it. Just want to poke it on various sides to get it to okay. And there's some fuzz there. So there is an example of how to embellish a cookie cutter shape. And had I done the back, this would be a 3D cone. You know, I put the layers there too. The way it is right now, it's just a one-sided. But yeah, it just gives you an idea of different things that you can do with cookie cutter shapes. Have fun felting.